Good evening, folks. My name is Bill Perry. I live at 41 Pine Road, Lebanon Estates. I've got a few questions that I'd like to address to either the chairman or to the superintendent. An article in the Valley Breeze recently stated that the Rhode Island State Legislature was considering negating a bill scheduled to take effect in 2014 that would require seniors in Rhode Island to be at least partially proficient in both math and reading before they could graduate. It stated further that if this policy were in effect today, 44% of Rhode Island seniors would not be allowed to graduate. Okay, that sounds pretty abysmal. Okay, along with that, I have some kneecap scores here, and for Cumberland High School, 11th grade math, 2011, 2012, 31% proficient. 11th grade writing, 2011, 2012, 47% proficient. 11th grade science, 2010, 2011, 29% proficient. That's telling me that the rest of the students, well over 50% in all three of those cases, would not be allowed to graduate if those standards were in effect today. Does this indicate to anybody here that maybe we have a failing school system that has to be changed drastically? Do these kneecap scores mean anything to anybody, or do you just blow them up, or what? You know, to me, they're telling me I'm paying for a bad school. Is there any rebuttal to any of that?
I could offer a topic, but Joe, not take a shot first.
I can do a couple of things first, try to get some of the questions out.
Yeah, I'd love to have that explained.
First, you referenced the state looking for a waiver from the regulations for No Child Left Behind, the two to graduate. Around 14 states already have the waiver, including Massachusetts, because they know in 2001 when this went into effect, there's a lofty goal, but now they know it's a political problem because schools aren't going to graduate. A lot of kids, Barrington, which is the highest in Rhode Island, I believe that's 68% proficient in math, and Barrington wouldn't graduate a lot of the kids. So right now they're asking for a waiver because they know no one's there yet. The high school score is good, no they're not. And we're doing a lot of things. I think I don't want to spend a long, I could speak with you privately and talk about the things we're doing, or if you want to prompt me, Mr. Mutter, I could talk about certain things that we're doing, but I'm absolutely not satisfied with the scores.
Well, it seems to me that rather than seeking a waiver, maybe we'd want to educate the students better. I mean, are you telling me that kneecap scores are set so high, or the standards are set so high for proficiency, that we can't match those standards with more than 50% of our students? That's sick.
In English, most schools are there, including Cumberland. In math, it is true. The math test is still a problem in Rhode Island. What I'm telling you is...
Math, writing, and science.
Right.
The only thing where we come any place close to having good scores in reading.
Right. What I'm telling you is the state recognizes, the state as a whole, Rhode Island's not ready yet like Massachusetts and the other states in the country. What I'm saying is the schools have a lot of work to do, but the No Child Left Behind law that went into effect isn't realistic for where the kids are in the country right now, so a lot of states are asking for a waiver. I don't think I'm saying we're happy with where we are, if we're not.
I've also done another report that grades states across the country for spending per student and the graduation rate. Okay? Rhode Island is 7th in the country in spending per student. We're 32nd in the country in graduation rate. 32nd. Vermont is just ahead of us in spending, they're 6th. But they're like 4th in the country in graduation rate. Massachusetts is 9th in spending. They're 1st in graduation rate. I don't see where the money is being properly spent if we got numbers that come up like that. I don't know how you can fudge the scores to make them look any better. I think you have to fix the school systems. Massachusetts and Connecticut are not across the country. They're surrounding us. They're just a little period between those two states. The demographics are pretty much the same.
That's what I thought. I don't think we're trying to fudge scores at all. We're trying to give you the real scores. But in terms of spending,
I believe they're real scores.
if I could just finish.
And we're 32nd, that's bad.
Mr. Chair, if I could finish.
Yeah, Mr. Perry, I would just say this, I mean, you and I have had discussions on this, you tend to use language, you did say fudge, you know, just like the other night you, I would actually be a little more careful.
You said fudge, I didn't say fudge.
You did not say, you're not gonna fudge, you didn't say that?
He did.
You said that.
He said we're not trying to fudge the numbers.
You didn't say what?
He said we're not trying to fudge the numbers.
But he was responding to the comment about fudging the numbers.
No, you wasn't.
He wasn't?
No.
What did you, and I missed, I heard it that way myself. But regardless, I thought you said it, so my problem.
Okay.
I just have one fast thought on the money. Yes, Rhode Island is high as a state. Now, if you know, Cumberland spends the least per child in Rhode Island. We're the bottom. Just so you know, for the record, we
I
spend the least.
understand. But I'm looking at the scores. I'm saying, am I getting my money's worth in Cumberland? I'm not concerned about Oshkosh, Wisconsin. I'm concerned about Cumberland. And when I look at these scores, and it says that half of the students in this school wouldn't be able to graduate if they were held to proficiency by NECAP, that's telling me we're doing something wrong. I want that fixed.
I think you're right.
And you don't fix it by putting more money there. Obviously, the money's not working. Something else is wrong. No comment?
I could spend hours talking about this, but I'm not sure.
Mr. Perry.
All right,
Ms.
guys,
Bolden first, and then I'll finish.
what's that?
Ms. Bolden.
I'll just add, we formed a committee, a subcommittee with this new school committee called the Achievement and Communication Subcommittee, in part because we were all concerned about the integrity of our program and whether it be the test scores or where kids were going to college or how the satisfaction overall of the community with the schools. We then began to meet with each of the content areas, math, science, and all the rest, to really get an understanding of what the district was doing and what it wasn't. And in some cases, I think, I'll speak for myself, we really felt like some of the programs weren't being proactive about making improvements. We met with them in the fall. We've then started to meet with them again, and we're asking them specific questions about what are we doing to ensure that we're assessing kids more frequently, properly, and so that we know the next steps with our program. We also know that in some instances we didn't have supplies and materials, we didn't have professional development that was appropriate. We've tried to address some of the professional development for next year by modifying the school calendar to allow for PD where it's faculty only, kids are not in school, it's a professional development day so that we're not pulling teachers out of classrooms. Those are some of the small measures we're putting in place, but we meet with them now regularly. We want to know that they're making improvements. It is taxpayers' money, it's kids' futures, and that's really the most important part of this.
Absolutely.
We have a pretty strong emphasis on the math programs. We've asked the math department chair to come to us. Well, remember, that's last year's scores. This year, we're talking about ramp-up programs for kids who are not proficient. Next year, their program will include more intensive math, as well as the summer program will be revamped for kids who may have passed classes but are not proficient in their NECAP scores, because we've identified that there are maybe strengths in what they do know, but weaknesses in other areas. So we're taking about as proactive a role as we can and are working to try and raise those scores because we do believe that that
Could I
is the
suggest that
conversation.
somebody might want to contact officials in Massachusetts and Connecticut that are 1 and 2 in the country and graduating students and say, what are you guys doing that we're not?
Yeah,
Would that be a good suggestion?
I think that we would be open to any suggestion. I don't think there's anyone here that's happy with those numbers, and you've been in town long enough, and I would assume we've been paying attention to long
The
enough.
shock to me, Mr. Motor, is that, I'm kind of new to looking at these numbers.
I know,
but
I'm not
I've
going to
got
get a chance to
one-
finish. You've had, let me just finish mine.
Sure.
Okay? And then clearly, I agree with you. Those numbers, if you have been paying attention, you would know that I agree with you. I don't like any of those numbers, haven't liked them for a while. I think we're doing things differently now. You may not think it's fast enough, and you certainly have that right, okay? And we're going to make our argument for our funding request, which is at the heart of why you're standing at the podium tonight. And the powers that be will make the decision whether or not that argument holds water. But as far as the scores are concerned, I 100% agree with you. Just a couple meetings ago, with the question that was in the journal, I think if you're going to graduate from high school, you have high school skills. I think if you don't and we're graduating you, that's a problem. That's not doing anybody any good. So that we don't have a philosophical disagreement here.
No, I don't think we do at all.
No, but what I'm saying is that, you want it, and, it's never fast enough, and we all want it tomorrow. And believe me, we're working as hard as we can to get it there. But it is somewhat unrealistic to expect it to be tomorrow. But so no one's looking at those numbers, and I apologize for, mishearing you there as far as the budget. Those numbers are terrible in some cases, and certainly not, I think, representative of what we would expect our community to produce.
I don't expect us to go from 32nd to 1st next year. I'm not asking for that at all. But what I'm saying is, that number, that we're 32nd in the country in graduating people, can't be news to either this school committee or to the Rhode Island Commissioner of Education. Why hasn't something been done before now? Obviously, I'm just looking at the numbers, or I would have been here before, so bad on me. But some people are being paid to look at these numbers, and they're not doing their job. That's what I'm saying. And if they're not doing their job, we've got to get rid of these people.
Okay, we appreciate your comments, thank you.
Okay, on the school funding, could I ask somebody to explain?
This is actually not a question and answer portion of the agenda. If you want to make a public comment, or you want to address the committee, that's
No,
fine.
thank
Other
you.
than that, we put you on the docket.
Thank you.
Thank you.